We're going to spend a lot of time this semester working on how to structure stories, news stories, feature stories, all different types of stories. So let's get a little step forward, moving forward from what we know so far. And the first thing that we need to know is that writing is hard work. So it's very important that you take these lectures to heart, that you really read the examples that I give you, that we do the writing together in class so that you can see how story structure goes together. Where do we put the facts? Where do we put the quotes? Where do we put the sources? How do we structure our stories so that someone wants to read from the first sentence to the next sentence to the next sentence and so on? Now, what we've learned so far is, starting with this summary, this idea of the summary lead, the most important information, next most important information, getting the important details and the general background information. But we're writing in descending order of importance. And this, of course, is the inverted pyramid, best for breaking news. So we're going to get the summary lead in the beginning, then we're going to get the important details and the general information. Now let's look at an example of that. So here's an example from fairly big story. The Supreme Court legalized same-sex marriage across the United States Friday in a closely divided ruling that will stand as a milestone in its 226-year history. So just for kicks, let's break out the who, what, when, where, why, and how. So we know what the who is, the Supreme Court. We know what the what is, legalized same-sex marriage. When, Friday. Where, court. Why, well, we're not sure. That's going to come in the story. And how, in a closely divided ruling. Now, here's the rest of the story. There's the lead that we just talked about. And now here's the next most important information, that the justices ruled 5-4, what exactly they ruled. Then there's a quote to support that. So notice this structure in the inverted pyramid, that we have the summary lead, then we have more important information. It's the next most important information. And then we have a quote that supports that information. Then we get more facts. This is kind of the what happens next. And we get another quote, then we get some more information, okay? And so we can still do the same thing, approaching it a slightly different way. So I want you to think about the Martini Glass style of presenting news. And see, it looks like a Martini glass. We have the lead, which are the key facts in our inverted pyramid form. That's going to be the summary. But then we're going to have more of a chronology of events, and we'll see how that works. And then we have what's called a kicker. So notice the difference here is it doesn't come to that point at the end like the inverted pyramid. Now the conclusion actually means something to us. So here's an example for us. An unlicensed former babysitter was sentenced to 30 months probation Thursday for the death of an 8-month-old baby under her care in 2009. So here's the summary lead right here. And then the next most important information is going to transition us to the stem, and here it is. Deanna Williams also must continue counseling and is not allowed to babysit any children. So we have the most important information, the next most important information. See how this works? All right, let's take a look here. Here's the rest of the story. So look at where the body comes in. And this is the stem of this. So Williams pleaded guilty to reckless conduct, a felony punishable, etc. Now we have this history. In April 2009, she left this baby strapped in a car seat, covered with a blanket, unattended at her home. We have more of the stem. Here's the whole chronology. So notice this is like step by step going through here. And then we get to the base of the glass, this idea of the kicker, and we get this quote at the end. It's unconscionable what she did, Monaco said. Boom, the story's over. So notice this is not just kind of fittering off into nothing. This story has a real conclusion to it so that we want to read through to the end. And that chronology will inspire us to read through to the end.